Topic of buying your first scooter, and it's such a valuable topic right now in such an ever-growing market. So let's get straight to it and ask Jeremy the first question of, what is the first thing you should look for when buying a scooter?
Well, I think the first thing I have to say is, if you're looking at buying your first scooter, welcome to the family. You're going to have a lot of fun, save a lot of money, and have a great time. The first thing about buying a scooter is to work out pretty much what you want. Now, given that scooters are relatively cheap compared with other forms of transport, perhaps the first thing you should look at is what colour you like, what style you like, and then take it from there, because there are some practical considerations to follow. But the first thing is, be happy with the scooter when you're riding it.
Okay, so tell us about, I suppose, engine capacity, because everybody is sort of tossing up what sort of engine capacity to get, and they might not know what capacity is right for them. So tell us, is it important buying the right scooter with the right engine capacity?
Absolutely. This is where the practical considerations come in. What you want to do is look at what kind of use the scooter will be put to. The other things you have to consider is how big you are, how heavy, and the engine capacity will tend to follow from that. For instance, if you're looking at using the scooter a couple of days a week just to commute across town or from suburb to suburb, a 50 will be more than adequate, unless you're a big guy like me, in which case you look for something bigger. 100 to 150, nice balance for commuting. You're looking at a top speed that will keep up with most of the traffic most of the time. But then if you're looking at intercity use from town to town, or a lot of highway or freeway use, something a bit large like a 250 would probably suit you better.
Okay, and what about when I'm physically sitting on the scooter in the showroom? Is it important that I can get both feet flat to the ground, or do I just need to get one, or neither?
Well, since this is your first scooter, you need to have something that you're comfortable with. It's no good getting something that you feel intimidated by. So when you're in the showroom, sit on the scooter off the stand, hold it up, make sure that the weight is something that you're comfortable with, the balance that you find is right. And yes, I'd say when the bike is off the stand, both feet flat on the ground is a good idea. Now, seat height has a lot to do with that, but that's not the only thing to consider. One thing to look at is the actual width of the seat, because a low, wide seat may be harder for you to get your feet around than a high, narrow seat. So really it is a question of going to a shop, get the scooter off the stand, sit on it, and see how comfortable you are.
Okay, that's good advice. And what about the old question of wheel size and tyre size? What one is best for me?
Well, again, things have changed since the old days. Back in the old days, 10-inch wheels, narrow tyres, a recipe for not disaster, but for an exciting ride at times. Generally speaking, the larger the wheel, the more stable the scooter will be at speed, and the better it will handle potholes. Now, there are some provisos with that, because you can get scooters with small wheels but large tyres. So we're talking the effective external diameter of the wheel and the tyre combined. So a narrow tyre will steer slightly more quickly than a wide tyre. A wide tyre will give slightly more grip. It's always a compromise between one and the other, but something you should look at is generally the larger the tyre, the more stable the scooter.
Yeah, okay. Well, again, great advice there.